Welcome back to another video, guys. Cop versus cop. Let's get into it.
2023, an on-duty sergeant from the Indianapolis Metropolitan. In September 2023, an on-duty sergeant from the Indianapolis Metropolitan Police Department was traveling through a construction zone in his unmarked squad car when he spotted a Ford Explorer that closely resembled Indiana State Police vehicles. The driver, 23-year-old Jonathan Becker, wore a neon green uniform shirt with patches, similar to Indiana law enforcement attire. Jonathan soon pulled in behind the sergeant and activated his white and amber emergency lights, signaling what appeared to be a traffic stop. In response, the sergeant pulled over, but Jonathan continued driving, turned off the lights, and was later seen in another construction area with workers dressed in similar attire. The sergeant asked Jonathan if he was a police officer, but Jonathan denied it and accused the sergeant of speeding in the construction zone. While they argued, the sergeant called for assistance from uniformed officers.
Is he a cop? Is he not a cop? Is he a traffic cop? I'm guessing he's a traffic cop. The worst kind of cop.
As they spoke, the sergeant noticed John's tactical belt had a radio mic, a key ring with an Indiana State Police logo, and a black whistle, items commonly used by police officers.
Are you a police officer in the state of Indiana?
I already answered this question. Not answering again, I already told you. Okay, so you're...
Do we really need to watch this guy, get his dip? Come on now.
Stop playing games.
There's no games here.
Okay, then I already answered that question. 5 or 6.
Well, the reason I asked you before is because I wanted to make sure if you are a police officer.
I already told you my answer.
Okay.
Stop asking.
You told me you're not a police officer.
I already answered that
You understand
question.
why I stopped to talk to you, correct?
Yeah, because you flew past me going 80 miles an hour and it posted 55.
Okay.
For no reason. How do I know you're not on your way to the call because your lights are on?
What
And
lights?
You're not in a police car, a marked police car.
Okay.
And then you put your badge on to talk to me.
Correct.
And your gun.
I didn't put my gun on. I have my gun with me because
Okay.
I'm a police officer.
All right, well, I didn't see your badge on.
When I went by you in the car, you mean?
Yep. You put it on to come talk to me?
Correct.
Yep.
Because I wanted to make sure that you knew that before I just come up and start talking to you what was going on.
All right.
Okay?
All right, go run me. Let's get this over with.
Okay. Do you understand what's happening here and why I'm here to talk to you?
Nope.
You don't understand?
Nope.
Okay. Do you have
It's the level of attitude this guy has. He might be a cop. the level of attitude he's giving this other cop, he's out copping this cop. Okay? Why is he so mad? Is it about the speeding in the construction zone? Does he take speeding really seriously because he's a traffic cops aren't cops? My mind is blown.
you have responsibilities enforcing traffic law?
I'm a flagger.
Okay. Do you have responsibilities to enforce speeding law on the interstate?
Whenever we're in a construction zone, I do whatever they tell me to do.
Okay. Has anybody tasked you with the responsibility to flash your lights at motorists on the road and tell them to slow down while you're driving?
What do we do?
Okay, what you're doing right now is stationary on the side of the road, trying to ensure the safety of people in a construction zone, right?
Yep.
Okay. You understand the difference between motoring public on 465, which is a busy interstate in Indianapolis.
I don't know what your point is here.
Okay. My point is, let's step back and look. Okay. Would you agree that some people might think this looks like a police car or some kind of emergency vehicle?
It's a traffic control car. Just
Okay.
like his car.
Okay.
Just like his car.
which is
just
why
like
I-
his car.
Okay.
We all use
Which is
different
why I
types of
asked you
vehicles.
why you are essentially trying to enforce traffic law on the interstate.
Who said I was trying to do that?
Did you not activate your lights, what you said, to slow me down?
I did not.
You didn't activate your lights?
Nope. And there's a witness.
Okay.
Wherever he went.
You didn't activate these lights right in the front of your car?
Nope. You're a witness to this whole thing, so I strike out. This dude, he drives by in his Jeep. We're going what? 60? And it's a 55 on Caitlin.
It was also discovered John was on probation for unlawful display of emergency lights on a vehicle.
Mr. Becker, is your driver's license? Are you on probation?
Yeah.
You're on probation
You already know the answer to that
Hancock
question.
County?
You already know the
What
answer
are
to
you
that
on
question.
probation for?
You already know the answer to that question. You looked it up, so you already know.
Okay. What do you think he's on probation for? No, actually, I've never seen somebody on probation for it, but he's on probation for improper use of emergency lights.
It's not improper use.
The exact same thing he got re-pulled over for.
You need to reread that.
I'm not here to write you a ticket.
Okay, I know
What
that.
do you
but-
think the odds are that of
Okay,
all
hold
people?
on. Reverse. You said improper use. What did it say? Now you're implying to him that I use red and blue light.
I didn't imply anything.
You just told him, and so
You're
now
on.
everyone thinks they're.
Did you flash your lights when you were behind him?
No, I didn't.
Of emergency
I
lights
didn't.
on a
He
vehicle.
flew past.
Well, you're not the
me.
police. So guess what? If somebody flies past you, call the police. What do you think the odds are that of all the people that I stopped to talk to for flashing their lights on the interstate?
He didn't flash him, but
Whatever you want to call it.
he
bud,
flew by me
okay?
at 80
You're on-
miles
you're
an
on
hour, which would
probation
make
for unlawful display of
a
emergency
reason
lights
for us
on
to
a
believe that he
vehicle.
did
So,
something about it.
Yes, you probably know a lot about the statute.
I
But you
do.
probably, if you're on probation for that, shouldn't be on the interstate trying to slow
No,
traffic down. And this is your lucky day that the car that you try to do that to happens to be an unmarked police officer who happens to be working. Okay? So don't give me a hard time when you're on probation for something
Don't touch
related.
my car.
Okay?
I'm not touching your car. Stop touching my car. Okay.
This guy's feisty, man. Like, I'm still trying to figure out all this positioning. How is this going to end? Let's skip ahead. Because I'm not sitting here watching their, their measuring contest the whole entire time. That's just not going to happen. Okay, I think. Okay, so I think some interesting stuff happened here. Let's start from here.
Passenger door and what appeared to be tactical vest and body armor in the back seat.
It's a handcuff.
Recording.
You do security. Do you understand that doing security means you cannot put someone in handcuffs? That's what the real police do, is put
Okay.
people in handcuffs.
Yeah, I understand that.
There's no firearm in here, but there's a magazine and bullets.
Yeah, well, I got obviously clean this out because I just transferred everything to my other car, but there's no gun. I have a Glock. It's 19.
Where is it at?
But I can't carry it, right? Because I'm on probation.
You know your business better than us.
Okay, well,
I haven't looked at. I don't know.
pretty sure I have
what
to
the
tell
conditions-
you, I can't have a firearm. I don't have a firearm.
I'm just
So,
telling you. I don't
it's at
know the
house,
conditions of your
and it's
probation.
secured.
There's probably people who have conditions of probation that say, like, if I'm working, I can. Maybe across the board. I mean, it's only a C misdemeanor that you're on probation for.
So now they're giving him the real cop shakedown. Not just to flash some lights and then drove past. They're giving him the real cop shakedown. Listen, this is lame. I'm sorry. I expected, again, more action. I gotta give it to these channels. They have wonderful titles that really gets me to click. What happens when a fake cop pulls over a real sergeant? I'm like, oh, this is gonna be good. Like, he's really trying to, no. He's just trying to bump up his credibility on the side of the road when people, speed past. Because, a line without teeth, well, why is anybody scared of you? So he's trying to look as close as possible to a cop so people actually, change their behavior during in construction zones. That's his whole angle. If I look more like a cop, they'll respect me and actually make my job easier or make it possible for me to do my job. If people know that I can't even give them a ticket, what's the point? You see what I'm saying? They're just gonna keep on going. You're not the cop. Who cares? But if he looks like a cop, they may second guess it. Just like how, in Texas, for example, roadside people, if I remember correctly, they're allowed to use red and blue. Construction crews, they're allowed to use red and blue. Because I see yellow on the side of the road, no one really takes that seriously. You see red and blue, it must be a cop. You don't want to fly past a cop on the side of the road, you might get a ticket. Same thing here. That's all he's doing. I'm not here to argue if it's legal or not. I'm saying I understand it. And understanding does not mean agreement, people.
So
Yeah,
I don't know that I've ever encountered somebody on probation for a C misdemeanor. And I don't do probation. So I'm just gonna say you probably know your business and your risk better than. Sure, it's there, but I'm gonna go down that route. Have a nice day.
As the sergeant and officers left the area, John was seen taking pictures of their vehicles. Given the odd and suspicious nature of the situation, the sergeant decided to dig further.
Ooh.
After the incident, the sergeant reached out to other law enforcement agencies to see if they were aware of similar interactions with John. He received a photograph from June 2022 showing John directing traffic for churchgoers leaving a service. The photo had been taken by someone who was concerned that the vehicle John was using resembled a fake Indiana State Police vehicle. The investigation deepened as the sergeant reviewed footage from August 2022 recorded during the funeral procession of an Elwood police officer killed in the line of duty. Amid the procession of police vehicles with flashing emergency lights, one vehicle stood out, a car operated by John, equipped with red and white emergency lights bearing a license plate that read, Indiana Traffic Operations. However, the sergeant would soon learn that John made his day-to-day activities well known to the world. Police discovered numerous photos on his public Facebook profile showing him dressed in attire similar to law enforcement uniforms. His bio
Why doesn't he just try to become a cop? Is he like not criminally able to?
listed him as
He's trying to like. This seems like one of those persons that really wants to be something that they're not. What's the barrier?
the owner of Indiana Traffic Operations LLC since September 2022, though he later removed this information. Among the posts on his page was a photo of John changing a flat tire, but what drew attention was his utility belt, which clearly displayed a firearm. Police subsequently reviewed John's TikTok page, Indy Traffic Cops, which contained hundreds of videos showcasing police vehicles, including his own fleet.
Has he crossed any lines yet, though? If you're in Indiana, I'm pretty sure you could get a license to carry a gun. Yeah. The appearance, he's not claiming it says traffic cop. He's straddling the line, but he hasn't crossed the line. Hey, fair game.
Fleet. In one video, John proudly displayed the interior of a Dodge Charger equipped with emergency lights, and a silver IMPD police badge was visible.
Got him. Oh boy. They caught you now, John.
While these badges were never publicly available, they could be acquired by retiring officers. Following the incident where he pulled over the sergeant, John appeared to change his TikTok username. Additionally, police found his company's Facebook page, where several posts featured law enforcement-related hashtags. The investigating sergeant believed these posts conveyed a misleading impression that Indiana Traffic Operations was connected to official law enforcement agencies or activities. The company's website was also reviewed, revealing several professionally taken photos of John. The sergeant particularly noted the images where John was standing in a public roadway, directing or possibly obstructing traffic, despite there being no apparent reason for his presence there. In addition, police found John's Instagram page, where his bio stated he was the owner of a page called Law Enforcement's. The account featured over 2,000 posts displaying law enforcement-related vehicles. The sergeant conducted a record search too, and confirmed John had never been a police officer with the Indianapolis Metropolitan Police Department or any other agency. However, he had participated.
This cop went up his ASS. Wow.
Participated in the IMPD's Explorer program as a high school student in 2016, a detail confirmed by old YouTube videos on his channel, along with other law enforcement-related content. With that, his interactions with real police officers stretch back to 2021, when John was stopped for operating a silver Dodge Charger, outfitted with equipment mimicking that of unmarked police vehicles. Items like handcuffs and an Ohio State Highway Patrol sticker were discovered. John was cited and warned about driving a vehicle designed to impersonate law enforcement. By April 2023, John was stopped again, this time for moving violations. A different Dodge Charger, now with state police.
Traffic control, but again, if it looks close, but it's clearly written traffic, well, honestly, I think the problem is when I see something like traffic control, me as an individual, I don't think they're cops. But I do, however, believe that they work for the government. That's my mindset. I think that in some way or another, you have perhaps not the broad authority as a law enforcement officer, but the narrow scope of traffic enforcement, where you can, in fact, give someone tickets. You know, that's my mindset. Maybe that is a problem. Am I? Is he responsible for my assumptions though?
Police-style decals carried a firearm on the passenger seat and tools associated with emergency responders. When officers asked John at the time about the color of the lights on the Charger, he replied, "Get a warrant." In May 2023, the sergeant reviewed footage from another agency.
He has the attitude of a cop.
Showing John arriving at an accident scene before first responders. He blocked a lane of traffic and walked freely among injured parties, police officers, and firefighters. At one point in the footage, both a police sergeant and a firefighter appeared confused about John's identity and his presence at the scene. The investigation also revealed John had owned 22 vehicle titles, most of which were police models. Only 4 were active at the time of the inquiry. Based on several of these factors, the investigating sergeant who was initially pulled over by John concluded that John had falsely portrayed himself as a law enforcement officer. On October 17, 2023, the state of Indiana filed a probable cause affidavit. After a review, probable cause was established and a warrant for John's arrest was issued. The following day, records show that John had been taken into custody. Ultimately, John was charged with impersonation of a public servant, a level 6 felony offense. He had also received a Class C infraction for operating a motor vehicle with a false plate, and he was released a few days later on a $250 cash bond. But the story didn't end there. Just over a year later, John dug himself into deeper shit. He was arrested once again, this time for felony impersonation of a public servant and unlawfully carrying a handgun in his white Ford F-150, a newer addition to his fleet that he had proudly showcased on his TikTok page shortly before the arrest. I think this ship has sailed, but why didn't he just apply to be a police officer?
Thank you.
Visit Code Blue Cam.
That's the same thing I said. He clearly wants to be a cop. Why not just become a cop? Is it your history is the issue? Like, I don't know. Guys, tell me what you think about that. He wants to be a cop very bad. Has he hurt anyone? Has he given fake tickets and collected money? Let me know what you guys think, all right? See you guys in the next one. Peace.